Hello Game Boys and Game Girls, I'm the Game Boy Guru, and welcome to episode 7 of Re-Unboxing. And I know it seems like a lot of episodes for a lot of games to unbox, but looking here, I have a lot more boxes, so there are going to be a lot more episodes. This time around, we've got this large box full of NES, 2600, and 7800 games, as you can see on the flap. So, let's get started. Have a look and see what's in here. So, let's start with Space Attack. We also have Super Challenge Baseball. Super Challenge Football. And Frogs and Flies. I remember playing a fair amount of that as a kid. A kid in my school had that, and we would fire that up on his 2600. iMagic's Quick Step. Another iMagic game here. Star Voyager. Here's E.T. for the 2600. Not the worst game in the world, like some people jump on the bandwagon and say. It's actually not half bad. It's very playable despite its flaws, and I had a lot of fun with this one as a kid. So don't believe the hype. Got Dragster from Activision. This is an interesting one. This is Ghost Manor by Xonox, Xonox, I'm guessing. It's a cool, interesting cartridge shape. Here's Astro Blast, another one I remember playing quite a bit as a kid. This is Galaxian, competent port of the arcade game. And this is the text-only copy of Superman. Here we've got Shark Attack. We also have G.I. Joe Cobra Strike. Major G.I. Joe fan as a kid. Sega's Carnival. We've got Laser Blast by Activision. Atari Pole Position, which uses the joystick instead of the paddle controllers for some inexplicable reason. Video Olympics. Sword Quest Fire World. I think maybe that's a duplicate. Barnstorming, which I had heard of but have never played. Got Real Sports Volleyball. We've got Millipede. This packing material out of the way here. We also have Home Run. Baseball action there. Let's see if I can get this other cartridge out of this area here. We've got Crystal Castles, which I remember playing briefly. And then also Circus Atari, another one of those paddle games I played somewhat as a kid. Now I've got some 7800 games here. Got Ms. Pac-Man, Dig Dug. Of course, I showed these off in a recent pickups video. Pole Position 2, because I got the 7800 and these games not very long ago. Choplifter 2, or no, Choplifter, just with the exclamation point. 7800 version of Asteroids. Joust. It's a good conversion. Robotron 2084, another good conversion. And a surprisingly good version of Xevious. Now moving on to some NES games here. We got Burger Time. Dragon Power. RoboCop 2 with manual. One of my favorites, Burai Fighter. A more recent pickup, Bump and Jump. Got Breakthrough from Konami. The classic Blaster Master. No NES collection is complete without Bionic Commando. Fantastic game. And Konami's Batman Returns. Good little beat 'em up there. We've got a Styanax. This is just the loose cart and sleeve, but I actually do have the box and manual for this one, which I'll show off in a future video. Speaking of Batman, Sunsoft's Batman, one of the best licensed games of all time. Also one of the best NES games. Got 1943 with manual. Bought it with the manual many years ago. Got 3D World Runner. Fun little kind of faux Space Harrier ripoff, if you will. Abadox, fantastic shmup for the NES. Here's the original Adventure Island. And how about Alpha Mission? Airwolf, and for those of you in my age bracket, you're now hearing the theme music to the show in your head. You're welcome. There's Anticipation, one of those board games turned into a video game that actually is, it's kind of weird. It doesn't work 100% of the time, but it is fun, and I played this a ton as a kid during sleepovers at a friend's house. We had a lot of fun with Anticipation. There's Commando, and this is the 5-screw round seal variant. Of course, Contra. Can hardly call yourself a NES collector if you don't have that. Cybernoid, the fighting machine. This I have complete. I'll show you the box and stuff in a future video, but this one I actually have in really great shape. Here's Dash Galaxy in the Alien Asylum. I was just about to say in the Alien Galaxy. Classic Deja Vu. And interesting, this is old enough to have the gold sticker on the back. This is a interesting one. This is Destination Earthstar. Double Dragon, of course. Love the NES version of that, even though it's not really arcade perfect. Double Dragon 2, another good one. Dragon Spirit, a competent port of the arcade original. Fun game. And actually a fairly easy shoot 'em up as well. So if you're looking to get into shoot 'em ups on the NES and you want to start off a little easier, Dragon Spirit's one to look for. Cabal, which I have the box for. And this is Captain Comic, The Adventure. I'm not sure why they tagged that on there. I remember playing the Captain Comic PC game, the PC original, over at a friend's house quite a bit. It was a fun game. There's the original Castlevania, of course. This is another more recent pickup. This is City Connection. Looking forward to giving that some love. Clash at Demon Head, made famous by Scott Pilgrim. Cobra Triangle, brutally difficult game, but good stuff. Had a lot of put a lot of time into this one as a kid because a friend of mine had it. Codename Viper, which is apparently a bit of a rip-off of the Rolling Thunder formula. Toxon's G.I. Joe, which is a fantastic game, and one that I go back to quite a bit on the NES. Great soundtrack. Top Secret Episode, Golgo 13. Good stuff. Had a friend who had that as a kid. That was an eye-opener of the Goonies, or Goonies 2, I should say. We never got the first Goonies game over here. I don't remember if it was a Famicom Disk System game or not, but this is a solid action platformer. Put a lot of time into Gyrus as a kid because one of my friends had it, and we played it a lot. NES version of Gradius, or Gradius, which I have almost beat. I haven't quite beat it, but I got close. And this was one of the games that netted me a shoot-'em-up high score competition with rfgeneration.com in December of 2014. Here's an arcade conversion of SNK's Guerrilla War. Not too shabby. And of course, Dr. Mario. Here's Taito's Elevator Action, arcade classic. Tengen's conversion of Fantasy Zone for the NES, which some people say is terrible. I never understood that because I think it's perfectly playable, even if the garish colors are a little hard on the eyes. Got Fester's Quest, kind of a festering pile, if you ask me, but still playable. Got Flying Dragon, The Secret Scroll by Culture Brain. Galactic Crusader, one of the many bunch games slash it was bunch games and Color Dreams. That was kind of the same thing. We got Gargoyle's Quest 2, more of the same for fans of the Game Boy original, which is one of the best Game Boy games out there. Got Tengen's Gauntlet conversion for the NES. Solid stuff. And Mindscape's take on Gauntlet 2, which is also quite good. We have the Guardian Legend, which is legendary at this point. Journey to Silius, another fantastic Sunsoft game with an amazing soundtrack. Kabuki Quantum Fighter by HAL, which is surprisingly difficult. Feels a bit like they were trying to take the Sunsoft Batman formula and expand upon it a little bit. Doesn't quite reach that height, but it is a solid game. Data East's Karate Champ. And of course, Karate Kid by LJN. Normally the LJN seal is something that you always would be cautious about, but I don't think this game is as bad as some people say it is. I might be biased because I played it a lot as a kid. One of my friends had it, and we played it a lot on sleepovers. It is flawed, definitely, but it's not that bad. Kickle Cubicle. Good game. I've got the box for this one and the manual that I picked up last year, I want to say, the manual for, so now I've got this one complete. Good stuff. Good puzzle game. The classic Kid Icarus, of course. Got Kirby's Adventure, which I need to put some time into at some point. Got Gyromite, which I believe was one of the launch titles. And that is a 5-screw. Also have Hollywood Squares. I remember putting quite a bit of time into this one as a kid also. This was fun. Friend had this. We played it a lot. Again, sleepovers. And just a fun game. Alright. Gotta dig down a little bit here. This is Infiltrator by Mindscape. Ikari Warriors 2 Victory Road. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but again, I don't think it's quite as bad as what people say. It is pretty lousy on the whole, and certainly compared to the first Ikari Warriors game, it's not that great. But it does have kind of an interesting slight RPG mechanic to it with the weapon system and getting the hearts so that you can buy upgrades and do different things, and I don't know, it's interesting. It uses voice samples, which are horrible and scratchy, but it does some interesting things. It's just not very well executed. But I played it a lot as a kid. And speaking of its predecessor, there's the original Ikari Warriors NES conversion. This is one of my go-to games. This is Jackal by Konami. If I'm ever in a position where I want to play something on the NES, but I can't decide what to play, this is one of them I always go for. I still have never beat it, but it's such a fun game, and I come back to this one a lot. This is SNK's Iron Tank. Solid game. And we've got Wizards and Warriors 2 Iron Sword with Fabio gracing the cover. And here's another Color Dreams game. This is Metal Fighter. I have the box for this, which I'll show off in a future video. And just need to get the manual so I can complete that. There's MC Kids, one of the handful of McDonald's games that came out in the 90s, along with Mick and Mac Global Gladiators, I want to say was McDonald's related in some way. Somebody might have to fact check me on that. And then, of course, McDonaldland by Treasure. Here's Mag Max. I think Global Gladiators was related somehow. Here's we'll get the last of the 2600 cartridges in this box out of the way real quick. We've got Dodge 'em. Commando Raid, which looks a fair amount like a cross between Atlantis and Missile Command. And Fast Food. Now for the rest of the NES games in this box, we've got the classic Metroid, of course. Mickey Mousecapade, not one of Capcom's best Disney NES games. Once they kind of did DuckTales and went on from there, most everything was golden. This was an early one and it wasn't as good. I like it. I played it a lot as a kid, again, at a friend's house during sleepovers, but it definitely has its flaws. It's still worth a look though. Here's Millipede, classic arcade game there. Here's Mylan's The Secret Castle, and I have a box copy of that as well. Here is Demon Sword. Kung Fu. Classic NES game. There's Legacy of the Wizard. Legendary Wings, another relatively easy NES shoot 'em up. So if you're looking again for a shmup that won't tax you too much, this is a good one to go with. I've done a 1 credit clear on that one. One that I haven't done a 1 credit clear on, however, is Life Force, which is brutal. Cool game, but very hard. This is Little Nemo the Dream Master. Classic Capcom action platformer. The first Adventures of Lolo game. I really need to get Lolo 2 and 3 at some point, because those are fun puzzle games. Lunar Pool, which was recommended to me by my buddy Dan, if I'm not mistaken. Here is The Moffat Conspiracy by Vic Tokai. The original Power Blade, solid game by Taito. Got Platoon by Sunsoft. I haven't played that one yet. Pinbot. I remember a friend of mine had a copy of this and we played quite a bit of that. That was pretty cool. And of course, Nintendo's own Pinball. Phantom Fighter. Another one of those I remember seeing the rental box for quite a bit, but never rented it. None of my friends ever rented it. We've got Ninja Gaiden 2 Classic. And of course, with that is the original Ninja Gaiden. I would love to score a copy of Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Doom at some point, but it's become very expensive. Monster Party. Got Mission Impossible from the short-lived reboot of the TV series during the 80s. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, of course. Still super fun. Got Mighty Bomb Jack. A bit of an update to the arcade game. Single-screen arcade classic. TNC Surf Design. I remember playing this game quite a bit as a kid. One of the neighbor kids had it, and we used to do the surfing mini game a lot. There's Duke Togo's favorite game, Silent Service. Duke Togo from RF Generation, I should say, and a game he holds in high esteem. There's Snake's Revenge, the unofficial sequel to Metal Gear that had no involvement from Hideo Kojima. There is Ivan Iron Man Stewart's Super Off-Road. I think Pat the NES Punk references that game a lot for some reason as a running joke. There's Xenophobe. Sunsoft's conversion of the classic Atari arcade game. I don't think I ever played the NES version before. There's Slalom by Nintendo. And there's Renegade by Taito, which I believe was reskinned for American markets, but might be an early Kunio-kun game. Again, someone might have to fact check me on that. Here's the Battle of Olympus. Remember one of the kids from school had that and really loved it. This is Mock Rider. I've been told this is a bad game, but I haven't played it yet. Here is Operation Wolf. I remember playing this in the arcade and getting quite a kick out of it. Unfortunately, I don't think this supports the zapper. I think you have to use the NES pad with the crosshairs. There's Bad Dudes. I'm bad. With its bad voice sample and included manual. And here is Super C, which I showed off in a semi-recent pickups video. Finally have a copy of that. Here's the NES version of Strider. One of my friends had this as a kid and played it a few times on a sleepover. Didn't get into it. Loved the Genesis version, but couldn't appreciate the NES game. I think it's something I would appreciate more now than I did as a kid. There's Wampum, which I picked up semi-recently. Here's another more recent pickup, All Pro Basketball by Victor Kai. They're a little underrated as a developer, I think. The classic Excite Bike, of course. My first ever Wisdom Tree NES game, Exodus. Finally scored that one a little while back. Here is Tengen's Roadrunner. Don't know if this is a conversion of any kind or an original title. And I've had the Wii version of this forever, but only recently scored A Boy and His Blob for the NES. I had a friend who had that as a kid and tried to play it, didn't understand the game mechanics. It wasn't a straightforward action game, so I wasn't having it. Mendel Palace, which is apparently an excellent game. Pinball Quest. Recently acquired Terra Cresta, so one more shmup to knock off my list of NES games. Ren and Stimpy, Buckaroos. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project. Finally have that as of more recently. Solomon's Key. And finally, another more recent pickup for the NES, and marking yet another shooter off my list, and that is Silver Surfer. So that is the box of NES 2600 and 7800 games. I know I've got more NES and more 2600 stuff to go through here, so keep checking out the videos because you'll see more of that stuff. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at GameBoyGuru. Excuse me, I'll have a link to that in the description, as well as a link to my blog, GameBoyGuru.blogspot.com, where you can check out my game reviews. And also make sure you check out Nira and his channel on YouTube, link in the description below. He did the intro music to all my videos, the Super Mario Land Overworld cover, and he's got lots of other great chiptune and game music covers on his channel as well. So make sure to go check those out. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for playing, and game on.